All right, guys, Dante's Purgatorio, Canto number 30. This Canto 30. Those seven polar stars that constellate the highest fear and never knowing nadir or zenith, veiled by the murk of sin alone. Those stars that make the souls in heaven aware of what is right, as by our weighing down there a helmsman turns his wheel to steer for port, stopped and stood firm. The people of the truth who marched between the griffin and these stars turned as though each found peace towards the chariot, and one of them, as sent from heaven, cried out, Veni sponsa de Libano, singing. The others followed on this verse three times, as when the last new day is heralded, and happy souls will rise keen from their caves, dressed in new voice to echo Alleluia. So now, ad vocem tanti seni, there arose above the hollow chariot 100 angels, all bearing news of eternal life. They spoke thus, Benedictus qui veni, and strowing petals upward and around. Manibus, oh, date lilia pleni. I saw once at the opening of the day the orient sky in color all clear rose, the western heights still robed in tranquil blue, and then the sun newborn with shadowed face, hazy in vapors that so tempered it that eyes could tolerate its light a while. So now beyond a drifting cloud of flowers which rose up arching from the angel's hands, then fell within it, and round the chariot, seen through a veil, pure white and olive crowned, a lady now appeared to me. Her robe was green, her dress the color of a living flame. And I, in spirit, who so long had not been trembling in her presence, racked by awe, began again to tremble at her glance, without more evidence that eyes could bring, but darkly through the good that flowed from her, sensing the ancient power of what love was. But on the instant that it struck my sight, this power, this virtue that had pierced me through before I had even left my boyhood state, I turned aside and leftward, meaning now, with all the hope and deference of some child that runs when hurt or frightened to its mum, to say to Virgil, there was not 1 gram of blood in me that does not tremble now. I recognize the signs of ancient flame. But Virgil was not there. Our lack alone was left where once he'd been. Virgil, dear sire, Virgil, to him I'd run to save my soul. Nor could the all our primal mother lost ensure my cheeks, which he once washed with dew, should not again be sullied with dark tears. Dante, that Virgil is no longer here. Do not yet weep, do not yet weep for that. A different sword cut first must make you weep. From stern to prow, some admirable will pace. From stern to prow, some admiral will pace to see how well in other holes his captains fare and seek to hearten them to do their best. So almost left along the chariot, turning around to hear my own name voiced, I hear recorded of necessity. I saw my Donna, who'd at first appeared hidden in gardens of angelic joy, fixed from beyond the brook her eyes on me, though still the veil descending from her brows, encircled with Minerva's olive fronds, did not allow distinctly any sight of her. Her look was stern and proud with sovereign strength, and then went on and spoke as though she still held back until the last her, fi- her fieriest words. Look, I am Beatrice. What right had you to venture to this mount? Did you not know that all are happy here? My eyes fell, glancing to the spring clear brook, but seeing me in that shame bent my brow. I dragged my gaze back to the grassy bank. A mother to her son looked stern and proud, so she appeared to me, for true concern is bitter to the taste and quick to sting. She did not speak, but suddenly as one, the angel sang, In te domine speravi, but did not go beyond the pedis meos. Compare the snow that falls through growing eaves, freezes the spine of Italy and drifts, blown and compacted by Slavonian winds. But when the southern lands where shadow fails breathe once again, within itself it thaws, then trickles down as candles mount in flames. So too, until those beings sang, their notes are all concordant with the heavenly spheres. I'd been there uttering no sigh or tear, and yet on hearing, through these harmonies, their pity on me, it seemed they had said, Why, Donna, cause him discord such as this? The ice, so tightly stretched around my core, breathe and turned now to breath and water, issuing at mouth and eye in spasms from my heart. Then she, still leftwards on the chariot, unmoved and standing firm, addressed her words to these true beings, so compassionate. You wake in vigil through eternal day, so neither night nor sleep can steal from you a single step that time takes traveling by. Thus answering, my greater care must be that he in tears there grasps what I intend and brings to balance all his grief and guilt, not only by the work of heaven's great wheels that send with its companion stars each seed along the road towards its rightful end, but also by those holy generosities that reign in grace from clouded powers so high that human sight can come in no way near. This man, through all his new life, fresh and young in virtual power, was one who might have proved, in all of his behavior, wonderful. Yet there on earth the richer soil may be the more untilled or sown with evil seed. Its vigor turns to wilderness and bane. I, looking on, sustain him for a time. My eyes, when bright with youth, I turned to him and led him with me on the road to truth. Then on the threshold of my second age I changed, took different life, and he at once drew back and yielded to another glance. He drew back and yielded to another's glance. I feel like this is Beatrice saying like he was no longer in love with me, maybe. Risen from body into spirit form, my goodness, power, and beauty grew more strong. Yet I to him was then less dear, less pleasing. He turned his steps to paths that were not true. He followed images of failing good, which cannot meet in full their promises. And when I prayed that he might be inspired, seeking to call him back by dreams and other ways, all that came to nothing. He paid little heed. He fell so far that every other means to save this man by now came short, unless he saw himself, those people who are lost. I went then to the doorway of the dead, and weeping, my entreaties there were borne to one who since has brought him to these heights. Hmm. God's high decree would shatter, though, if he should pass by the Lethe and go on to taste the food of life, yet leave unpaid the tax of penitence, which pours out flowing tears. I went then to the doorway of the dead, and weeping, my entreaties there were borne to one who since has brought him to these heights. So I feel like we just found out why Dante is where he is at. It seems right.